It's much too nice a day to stay indoors today, so I'm at my local wine store and we're going to do some more top wine values. There's not a particular theme for this episode. I'll just be wandering the aisles and I'll identify some top values as I see them. So there should be a range of countries, styles, and price points. Hopefully there'll be something for everyone. So I'll go inside and we can get started. My plan was to film this video at the store and offer my comments on each bottle as I was reviewing the bottles. However, it was a busy Friday afternoon and they were blasting the music all over the store, so it really wasn't conducive to filming. The first top wine value is a Castello di Monsanto Chianti Classico Riserva. This is a Sangiovese from Tuscany. I was at the winery a few months ago and it's certainly a very impressive producer. This is definitely an excellent wine. If you can still find some from the 2016 vintage, I definitely recommend picking some of that one up, but it's definitely a good consistent wine year in and year out and an excellent value for around $20 or so. The reason that this store does not have any more of the 2016 vintage is because I just cleaned them out about a month ago. The next top wine value is the Chateau Musar Hochar Red. This is often considered to be the second wine of Chateau Musar. It's generally available for about $30. It's a blend of 3 different grapes. You have about 50% Cinsault, 35% Grenache, and 15% Cabernet Sauvignon. This wine comes from 30-year-old vines. The winery releases this one 4 years after harvest. This wine was first produced in 2014, but that wine was only available in Lebanon. Since then, they've been distributing it more widely. This 2015 is an excellent option for around $30 or so. My next top wine value is actually a recommendation that I obtained from a viewer. Dennis Donahue recommended this wine in response to my video on Merlot. Specifically, I'm talking about the Nickel & Nickel Suscol Ranch Merlot. You can typically find it for about $60 or so. Dennis advised that after a 3-hour decant, it tasted like a $250 wine. I certainly agree that this is an excellent value and definitely well worth seeking out. This is an excellent value in part because varieties such as Merlot are not nearly as popular as Cabernet Sauvignon, and so you can oftentimes get more bang for your buck with Merlot than you could with Cabernet. The next top wine value is Clos du Marquis. This is a wine that's produced by Léoville-Lascasse. It's not a second wine, rather it's a second label. The distinction is second wines are oftentimes fruit that doesn't make it into the top wine, whereas a second label is a wine that comes from the same vineyard sources year in and year out, and it's always used to produce that particular wine. The vineyard for this wine is located very close to Léoville-Barton and Léoville-Poix Ferret, so certainly excellent terroir. This one is often found at retail for $70 to $80 or so. It's an excellent wine that offers compelling value at that price. Do be aware, however, that it is somewhat tannic in its youth, and so this is a bottle that you'll need to put away for a few years before you can enjoy it. The next top wine value is the Cune Rioja Crianza from the very good 2016 vintage in Rioja. Unbelievably, this wine is only $9.45, which is an excellent price for a wine of this quality. This is a Tempranillo dominant wine, but there's oftentimes a little bit of Grenache included in the blend. Interestingly, the Cune brand came about as the result of a fortuitous misspelling. The company that was preparing the labels for the wine actually thought that the CVNE was a mistake and that it should be CUNE, and so they corrected that on their own. Once the labels came back and the winery saw that there was a mistake, rather than going to the expense of redoing it, they decided to just go with it. Certainly that was fortuitous for this company, as the Cune brand has become very famous and well recognized. The next top wine value is the Luigi Bosca Malbec. This is a Malbec from Luján de Cuyo, Argentina, which is in Mendoza. Luján de Cuyo is certainly one of my favorite areas for Malbec in Mendoza. This is an excellent wine that has fairly wide distribution. I had it for the first time at a restaurant in Buenos Aires and paired it with a burger, and it was a magical match. Again, this one does have wide distribution, and so if you're looking for a quality Malbec at a reasonable price, you'd certainly want to give this one a try. Valdicava is one of my favorite producers in Tuscany. They make a Brunello that I enjoy very much. This is their Rosso di Montalcino, so this is also a Sangiovese based wine, but this is from the fruit that does not go into the top wine or the Brunello. So Valdicava is certainly an excellent producer. If you want to enjoy the Valdicava experience without paying the full $100 or so that it would cost you to get the Brunello, this is an excellent option. The next top wine value is Allione. Allione is from Vega Sicilia. Of course, Vega Sicilia costs much more than Allione. Allione can be had for about $95 a bottle, and if you buy 6, it looks like it's only about $85 a bottle. Certainly a very reasonable price for a wine of this exceptional quality. Allione is made in a style that's designed to be consumed much younger than Vega Sicilia. So with Vega Sicilia, I wouldn't even consider drinking one until it was past 20 years old, and even that would be way too soon. However, with Allione, It's designed to be consumed within 15 years or so after release. You could even enjoy it with a healthy decant shortly after it's released. This is 100% Tempranillo. It's made in a more modern style than Vega Sicilia. If you're getting value from these picks, please go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next one. It really does help me a lot. Ridge is one of my favorite producers in not only California, but the entire world. The Ridge Lytton Springs Red Zinfandel has been a classic wine for many years. It's always an exceptional value. It's highly acclaimed year after year, but typically retails for $30 to $35 or so, and that price has not really increased past 15 years or so. It's a wine of extreme quality from a historic vineyard and a top producer. It also pairs perfectly with barbecue, so with barbecue season approaching, this is definitely one to keep an eye out for and to give a shot if you haven't tried it already. The Muga Rioja Seleccion Especiale is my next top line value. This is a Rioja that's about $45 or so. It's an excellent producer, and as mentioned earlier, 2016 was a very good vintage in Rioja. This is a family-owned winery. This particular wine is a blend of Tempranillo, Grenache, Mazuelo, which is Carignan, and Graciano. If you're a fan of Rioja, I think you'll definitely enjoy this wine. My next top wine value is the Sequoia Grove Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley. It's extremely difficult to find Napa Valley Cabernet for less than $50. This Cabernet Sauvignon from Sequoia Grove is an excellent option if that's what you're looking for. Sequoia Grove is a sentimental favorite for me, as that is one of the very first wineries that I visited my very first trip to Napa Valley. My next top wine value is the Del Forno Romano Valpolicella Superior. This is one of my favorite producers of Amarone. They certainly make an exceptional Amarone, but that one costs much more than this Valpolicella. This is definitely an extremely high quality wine. It's not nearly as intense and extracted as the Amarone, so even some people that I know who aren't big Amarone fans enjoyed this wine. It's one that you can enjoy young, but it will definitely age very well also. I tend to enjoy it about 8 to 10 years after the harvest. If you'd like to see more top wine store values, please be sure to check out this video.